Yo, so what's up, guys? What's going on? We have a topic very near and dear to my heart today. It is how my Penn State professor made me a millionaire. So, Joe Oaks, if you're watching this, man, you know that I appreciate everything you've ever done. I wouldn't be here without you. You, by far, made the biggest impact on my life, and me and my kids, we don't deserve everything you've done, but you know, thank you just the same. So guys, if you didn't know, I went to Penn State. I actually went to Drexel first and then transferred in, and you know, I got my degree in about 2.5 years thanks to this man, Joe Oaks. And yeah, got a 4-year degree in 2 years. And it's a STEM degree. Like, we're gonna break all this stuff down. So I'm gonna collect all my thoughts and just kind of show you guys the progression and what's possible if you have good people in your corner. I started at Drexel, and Drexel is on a trimester system. It's in Philadelphia. The classes are so hard that fucking everyone failed, and they had to curve the damn class because damn near everybody failed. So I just didn't feel like it was a good place for me. I looked at all these schools. You know, I looked at Villanova, Temple, which is in the hood. So if you guys are going to Temple, be careful, because you probably will get robbed if you out late night, right? In 2 blocks either direction, you're definitely getting robbed. You know, I looked at UPenn, St. Joe's, Rutgers off in Camden, at a lot of different universities. And Penn State was kind of like my last one because I felt like it was high school 2.0. So I kid you not, you know, I show up on campus just for like a little tour and you know, see if I can enroll and, you know, transfer out. And no bullshit, it was rainy that day. I'll never forget it. The fucking sun opens up from the fucking clouds and it's just beaming down on the Nittany Lion. I'm like, it's raining everywhere else. Like, I'm fucking getting rained on, and this lion, the Nittany Lion, sitting here on campus is just untouched. And just sun's beaming down on it. I shit you not. I'm like, so I end up going into the advisor's office. You know, I had already done all the paperwork, and they're like, okay, so you need this class, this class, this class, but this class in particular is full. And I'm like, fuck, man, my goal was to graduate in, you know, 2 years so I could, you know, take these internships and just all this shit. Like, it really just fucked all my plans up. And they're like, well, you have to talk to the head of the department and maybe he can get you into this 100-level course. And I'm like, oh, man, like, I'm gonna change my major from mechanical engineering over to computer science, and oh my God, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, I'm totally screwed, right? So I'm walking out of the office, and I got my head down. I'm just like, fuck, man, like, what am I gonna do? I bump into this guy, you know, short, bald, you know, white guy, surfer type, just, you know, wearing fucking cargo pants and like little mountain biking t-shirt and shit. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, man, I'm so sorry. And I was like, oh, are you Professor Oaks, the head of the department? He's like, yeah. I'm like, look, man, you don't know me from anybody. I'm like, I'm fresh out the military. I'm transferring in from Drexel. You know, I got my son. You know, I got a daughter on the way, my oldest daughter. I'm like, and I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do because I need this 100-level course. It's full and they won't let me in it. And if I don't do this, this is gonna throw my timetables off. He's like, for what? And I was like, look, man, I gotta take care of these kids. I need to get this piece of paper to go get a damn job so I can make some money and ultimately, you know, grow businesses out of it. Like, I really need your help. He's like, so you're gonna get a 4-year degree in 2 years? That's wild. And I was like, yo, you'll never see me again if you just put me in this one class. It's like, all right, show up on my, not that Monday, but it was like 3 weeks later. He's like, you know, show up for class. I'll put you in, don't even fucking worry about it. I'm like, you serious? He's like, yeah, let's see what you got. And that's how it all started. So now we're gonna get into the segment of why this moment in time, bumping into him, changed everything for me. Let's go. All right, so why was this moment in time so instrumental? Well, for starters, I ended up getting an A in that class. And because I got an A in that class, he became my advisor. So what you guys don't know is, you know, a lot of universities, you could have like the head of the department, or, you know, like a faculty member in your major specific, you know, field. They can become your academic advisor and help get you into these other courses. So because I did so well, and I proved that I really wanted it, he ended up helping me get into all my other classes without the necessary prereqs. So I almost got pencil whipped through everything. So instead of me needing all these gen eds, and not being able to take the, my 200s, 300s, and 400s, he was like, oh, don't even worry about it. I know you're gonna be good for it. So I was able to leapfrog. So I went from my freshman year, so I was a natural freshman, but by the time I ended my natural freshman year, because I went fall, spring, and through summer, I was a junior by credits. And in order for me to take my first internship at Vanguard, I needed to be a rising junior. Okay, so I needed 60 credits. And I had those thanks to Professor Oaks. So I was able to take that internship at Vanguard, which is where I ultimately ended up accepting a job offer. But before that, I was also able to intern at this company in Newtown called Print Mail Systems. They paid me very well. For someone who had nothing but military experience and was going through college, they paid me like $52,000 a year, something like that. It was fucking wild. I mean, I was also putting in a bunch of overtime and shit and classes and stuff, which I don't recommend to people. But he essentially got everyone on board to help me. Everybody. So, every internship and job offer that I got was because of him. He introduced me to everyone in the HR departments. He's like, hey, email this person, this person. It was almost like a walk in the park, to be honest with you. I mean, I had a terrible time in college because I was so busy studying. I was, averaging like 23 credits a semester. So I was just really, really busy and I didn't have much time for anything else. Plus I was interning full time and ultimately ended up working. But, even though I was miserable because of that, I was very grateful for all the help that he gave me. And then after I took my internships, I got my job offers. All right, so I already had my job offers. I was already working before I even graduated from college. So me getting that piece of paper was really just a formality because I already had, a job. And I actually had multiple offers. I had one from this company called Accolade. I ended up getting an offer from Google out in California. I didn't take it because I had kids. And to move out to California on a $130,000 salary and to take care of kids, it wasn't enough. That's the equivalent of making like 65, 70K where I was at in Pennsylvania. And I'm like, these companies are already offering me that and a little bit more. So why leave? I got offers from Lockheed. I actually turned Lockheed down. And Joe thought I was ridiculous for turning Lockheed down, but I'm like, going to work at Vanguard. And I did, and then ended up leaving Vanguard to go to Lockheed anyway. So that's how that turned out. But let's talk about why you need to have someone like Joe in your corner if you plan on doing big things, and why you have to kind of prove your worth in that arena. All right, so I know what you guys are gonna say, like, well, how is he instrumental in you becoming a millionaire? It doesn't make any sense. He just helps you get through college. Well, without him, I wouldn't have been able to start my master plan as quickly as I did. So because he was able to get me in all of these classes sooner, also big shout out to him for letting me bring my kids to class. All right, so my son will be graduating next year, and he went to class with me when I was going through Joe Oaks' course. So my son will more than likely go to Penn State and have Joe as his professor to help him get through. So we'll see what my son can do. But my kids were sick and I couldn't take them into daycare. He let me bring them into class because I had no other way. My parents were working and it was just me. I was young 20s and I'm trying to figure it out. And he's like, look, bring the kids to class or I'll do a Zoom session for you and you can get all the work in and go from there. So without him, I wouldn't have been able to enact all this, right? So I was able to get my internships and then my job offers and make money quicker than the next person. I was able to speed things up by 2 years, right? And that's why you need to have someone in your corner like Joe who can help you get to where you want to be. Because if you have your own plans and you're not, reaching out, asking for help, not a handout, but asking for help and then being willing to put in the work, you're never gonna get there in the time frame that you want. So because I was willing to put in the work and he took, pity on me essentially, it helped leapfrog me 2 years while everyone else was still in college. So my competition was in the dust, right? I was 2 years ahead of them. So I didn't have to compete with those guys that I came in with my freshman year for job offers or any of that. It was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So all those people that would have taken the jobs that I needed in order to make enough money to speed my business progress up, they were nowhere to be found. Actually, I know exactly where they are. They were too busy hanging out, and most of the kids that I was in class with, like, they never graduated. You know, and they used to think I was ridiculous for just coming to school. I would make sure all my classes were between 8 to 12 every day so I can go home, get homework done, get my kids, cook dinner, do whatever I need to do, make sure my kids were good, and then be up all night working. You know, and this is before, you know, I got married. We'll talk about that as well, you know, with my ex-wife. Yo, I actually got to give her a shout out because she was with me shooting in the gym, right? Like, out of everybody, you know, that's been in my life, she was with me shooting in the gym, you know, and she was instrumental too to get me there, but, you know, it's about Joe. So that whole process just sped everything up. And because things got sped up, I was able to focus not on the competition because they were so far behind. I was able to focus on my ultimate goal and take a little bit of time here and there to grow my businesses versus, okay, now I have all this competition, now I have to figure out how to grow the business too, and I have to do this and this and this and this. You know, I take care of my kids and X, Y, and Z, and it was absolutely, it would have been fucking terrible. You know, it was great for me, you know, even though school really kind of sucked because I didn't have any fun, but, you know, Joe always told me, he was like, hey, look, you're gonna have to do things that nobody else is willing to do in order to reach these goals, and you're not gonna have fun, and you're probably gonna be miserable because you're gonna be taking care of your kids, you're gonna be doing homework, you're gonna be interning, you're gonna be doing all these things. And he was right, I was absolutely miserable. I don't recommend what I did for anybody unless you know that there's a goal that you have to achieve by any means necessary. And for me, that's what it was. I was so focused and dedicated that nothing and nobody was gonna stop me from doing this. And you know, ultimately, I got here, got a, you know, house on the water and stuff, and it's fucking awesome. You know, I can't say enough about this man, you know, for helping me. And I know people will say like, oh, well, you know, like, what if these, you know, especially if you're black, I'm like, oh, white people don't like us. This little short, bald surfer dude who mountain bikes took pity on me. He didn't know me from anybody. You know, short little white dude, you know, one of the coolest people I've ever met in my entire life. He took pity on me and made me what I am today. It didn't matter to him that I was black or it didn't look like him. All that mattered to him was that I was willing to put in the work. And that, and at least in this type of climate, that speaks volumes for just race relations and how we could manage to get along. You know, if you're willing to put in the work and you're willing to show that you can do it, there's gonna be somebody out there that is willing to help you. And, you know, Joe, again, if you're watching this, man, you know, I appreciate this from the bottom of my heart. I honestly, I don't know where I would be if you didn't help me. I probably would have had to go back to the military because I didn't really have too many options. I had burned so much time at Drexel, you know, my GI Bill was gonna be up by the time that I graduated, and I'm like, man, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I got these kids to take care of, I'm stressed out. And you came and you saved me and my kids. And that's something that, you know, I'll never forget as long as I live. You know, you mean the world to me and my kids. And I hope that you do the same for my son that you did for me. You know, seeing that little kid sit back there playing Spider-Man on his tablet, you know, while dad's learning. You know, I appreciate you for that. And then you let me give my senior presentation with my daughter. At the time, Phoenix was a newborn. You know, she was like, shit, 8, 9 months old or something. And she got sick, and I'm sitting here carrying this newborn baby, giving my senior presentation. She all snotty, and the kids in class are, you know, holding my daughter and stuff. And, you know, not many people would do that, right? Not many people would do that for anyone, but you did that for me and my family. And because of you, I'm here. You know, I get to drive Lamborghinis and McLarens and got a big old house, and, you know, my kids have the best of everything. You know, my friends have the best of everything. You know, there's just not enough I could say to show appreciation for you just taking the time out of your day, you know, to showcase everything to me and show me the ropes, you know, help me with my classes. You know, whenever I was struggling with something, with, you know, a project or whatnot, you know, you were always willing to spend extra time with me. You know, you would have me come to the office and sit down and tutor me in whatever I needed. So, you know, I appreciate you, your family, everyone that's done everything for me. Penn State, you know, I'm always gonna be my alma mater. I'm always cool with that. And, you know, best university ever. I don't care what anybody says. But yeah, so again, guys, you know, that's how my, you know, my Penn State professor helped me become a millionaire. You know, he just helped speed the process up so that way I could make more money faster than the next person, and there was really no competition for me to do it. So Till next time, guys, you know, be safe, be smart. Catch you in the next one.